Welcome to Shift School. I'm your host, Lisa Costa. Class is in session. Let's make a shift.
I'm here with the Godwins today. I'm so excited to see you both. So, John and Don, thank you for being here. So from Alabama, born and raised, Don,
Yes.
John, Florida, right? Is that what you said?
Right.
From Florida. I know you well from the Ziegler world, but also seeing a lot of work with scouts and all in all, you two have such incredible hearts for taking care of the people around you. So I knew the minute I started getting people lined up for this podcast that you two both were someone I wanted to talk to. You have so much wisdom and you've done some really incredible things. And so I look forward to talking to our listeners about it. So tell me, what is, did you two meet serving? You're helping people? When was that like became part of your lives?
Well, I mean, we met in college.
Okay.
She was the prettiest girl I'd ever seen at a party. And so I was smitten at first sight many, many years ago.
Yeah.
But, to your point, while Dawn was in college, she actually taught Sunday school or Wednesday night?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, little kids. So caring for children has always been a big part of Dawn's life.
Mm.
And she kind of brought me into it after we got married. We were more or less a youth pastors at a Baptist church in Gordo, Alabama. It was kind of
Awesome.
the first thing we did, when you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are what are some things that have really defined how you two have decided to show up in the world that you're in? So I talk a lot about we take care of the people that we're responsible for, and that could be our children, could be, where we work at, could be where we're volunteering, but really anyone who comes into our circle is noteworthy, has that value. And so how do you two show up in those spaces?
So it's really goes back a long time. I've been working with American Legion Boys State
Mm,
for since 1992
okay.
as counselor. And so I've had the things that I do, and Dawn has stuff that she does, and then we have stuff we do together. But almost, goodness, right now where we are in life, almost every night of the week, we're working with one group or the other. And it really comes back to there's a lot of things going on right now
Mm,
in the world. And you got the big world that you have no control over.
yeah.
But you got those that have been placed in your life through providence that you can impact.
Mm,
And if we all work towards the goals of, making our lives and ourselves and those around us a little bit better every day, then it can have a very profound impact on those
mm,
around you.
mm.
I was always the kid that brought home the little puppy who needed to be taken care of and
Um,
nursed back to health, much to my parents' chagrin. Um, However, as I've gotten older, I kind of, let's see, my heart is in helping other people, and it kind of fell in special needs community in a lot of ways. And I started volunteering in Miracle League, and then I started helping John in Scouts. And
Mm,
when I started helping John in Scouts, special needs was not on my radar for that. And now, well, let's see, I'm on the national leadership team for the National Scout Jamboree for Disabilities Awareness and Special Needs Scouting.
incredible.
So why don't you take a step back and tell Kyle's story? Because even
Um,
though it's Kyle's
Mm,
story, it's the story that we all can
um,
walk out that changed, your
okay.
direction.
So, um, a few years ago, we were asked to reinstate a Cub Scout pack because Cub Scout packs pretty much dwindled during COVID because they couldn't
mm.
beat, and little kids. Zoom was dangerous for young children. Trust me, as a second grade teacher during that time, I can tell you I saw too many people in the shower.
Oh,
Um,
oh my
yes,
goodness.
it was
I've
very
heard of the
interesting.
toilet flushing stories and yeah, during
Oh
COVID. Oh
yes.
no.
So after we started the pack back up, and we have a thing called Aware and Care, where we talk to the kids about differences that we may have as people and how we
Mm.
need to show kindness. And then we are supposed to do a service project. So I took my pack to Miracle League and had them stand between the bases, and they gave high fives and encouraged all the players.
Mm.
They absolutely loved it.
Now, Miracle League is baseball for kids with special needs. It's I don't
Okay.
all across the whole country.
Yes, it's nationwide.
And
They're,
we've
they're
got a great chapter in Tuscaloosa.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I always assume people know, so I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I appreciate you adding that.
And one of my players named Kyle, who was a fifth grader at the time, my Cubs were in their uniforms, and he said, "Hey, coach, I used to be a Cub Scout." And I was like, "That is so cool." He said, "I loved it. I went to every meeting and did all the camp outs and did
Mm.
everything." And I was like, "Awesome." And I said, "Well, what about now?" He says, "Oh," he said, "I'm a boy. I would be a Boy Scout now, and they don't want kids like me in Boy Scouts."
Oh.
My heart literally dropped right there.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think, and I was like, "Well, what?"
Yeah.
And he and his dad kind of told us the story that they visited the troop that their pack would feed into, and they were made to feel very unwelcome. And
Mm.
dad was made to feel like he had to be there to supervise every single minute. Well, Kyle
Mm.
was an amazing kid. He was awesome. And 2 weeks later, I went to scout leadership training called Wood Badge. And there you have to write what your legacy would be in scouting. What do you
Mm.
want to be remembered for? Well, it wasn't very hard for me to decide what I wanted my legacy to be.
Mm.
And I chose special needs scouting. And then we have to write 5 goals for special needs scouting that we want to work towards and complete. And we have 18 months to do it. And that's what started me working with special needs scouts. And
Mm.
that's how I ended up now doing it with kids across the nation.
Yeah, but here's the other flip side of that story is the power of words. When you go
Mm.
back and you talk to the people who were in the troop, they did not intentionally exclude Kyle.
Yeah.
There wasn't an intentional um, action. There was just a lack of awareness. And there was
Mm.
a lack of understanding how very powerful words can be in certain situations.
Yeah.
So that's one of the great things that Dawn does is she works with unit leaders to understand the power of words and the power of creating the atmosphere
Mm.
where the kids, where because let's face it, we've all had middle school kids, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
all special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Mm-hmm.
kid
Mm-hmm.
has something that they need
Yeah.
at that time. And
Yeah.
that's where I think the true power of that story is just to understand the impact your words can have.
Yeah. That's so powerful. Because I would say most people, a very, very high percentage of people that I have come in contact with, we can all remember some words that have been said.
Oh,
Maybe it
yes.
was, from a teacher when we were younger, maybe it was from a parent or a family member. Like we have these words that are just like ingrained. And a lot of times they're ones that we hold on to that make us question our own self-worth when that probably was never their intent. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. And how we reorganize and reword that. And I know that then there are the stories of I wouldn't have made it except this one person, this one teacher. And Don, I will say I was a high school teacher. I really think middle school teachers you are made different. It is incredible. Yeah, so
Middle school teachers are something else.
they really are. So good job. They need someone who loves and cares for them so much. Of course, all teachers, but we know, uh, man, the power of words and showing up and being there. And I think that is what you two do really well. You show up. Um, I'm seeing about like scouts and John, I love some of the stories you tell about teaching leadership moments to those young students, those young impressionable people as they're trying to step into the world. And I think, man, I wish I had some great leadership training when I was younger. Now, I did have some really cool experiences, thankfully. And I think about some of the students I've had. But leadership, and here, when I talk about leadership and we talk about core personality traits, the ones that I use a lot are empathy, communication, trust, vision, communication. There's these things that really make a leader be someone that people want to lead or follow, right? Or at least be like, or uh, inspirational people. What are some things that come to mind as I'm rambling on about that? But the leadership training that you two do, whether you're doing it intentionally or not, tell us some things that have made such a big impact.
So we work with a program called National Youth Leadership Training, NYLT. It's a 6-day leadership course
In scouting.
Okay. And the staff we had last year had never done the course before.
Okay.
Only
Well,
five, six of the staff members had ever even seen it. The rest of them had not been participants. They were all good kids. And so there's this thing where, we have a saying, don't make eye contact with me, because that's the fastest way to volunteer. And all it is
Yeah.
a transfer of belief.
Mm,
And you can read it in people's eyes sometimes if they're just waiting for that extra nudge.
mm,
And so if you're going to take people in an uncomfortable situation so that they grow, the first thing
mhm,
you have to do is define the objective. What are we trying to accomplish? Who are we going to serve? And what is your role? Conflict often happens when expectations are not met. So
mm,
if we can clarify that, then all you're doing is working with the kids or the adults and getting them to take that next smallest step towards the goal they're trying to achieve.
mm. I love that.
And we have seen kids who go through that program, and there's a next step called National Advanced Youth Leadership Experience. And we took 5 kids from our troop, and 2 of them were our sons. And they go to Philmont, to the backcountry. So they're at 9,000 feet in the middle of backcountry where there are mountain lions and bears and all kinds of crazy things. Yeah, they can't shower at night because of the mountain lions and bears.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that till they got there, and I was not very thrilled.
Can't be alone.
No. But they take the kids, and what they learned in NYLT, they put into practice there in the backcountry in Philmont. And to see those kids, when we went, we went on a trip. We did a lot of sightseeing on the way out there. We take them there, and a couple of them were kind of begrudgingly there. They were not really thrilled about being there. But when they finished that program, those kids were so fired up because they knew they could do it. They had been empowered. They had been put in the situation in a good way to succeed, and they did. And it has led, that's why we ended up having the NYLT course in our areas, because these kids got so excited about it that they came back and helped us recruit all these other youth to help lead the program. And these guys were the mentors and kind of stepped into all the senior leadership roles, and then helped all the other kids gain that confidence. They were sharing, they were the mentors. John and I were there. We gave expectations and shared confidence with the kids. I know you can do this. This is going to be your role. And we broke it into steps. Every staff development was a different step for each group. And we kind of had a different adult working with each group to help them understand their role and practice and be ready. And that has led to so many wonderful things in our Boy Scout Council and even in our household. Now, our youngest son is actually going to be on staff for that program for the second summer this year.
And
That's
it's
so great.
really cool because the kids, the teenagers, are giving the presentations on goal setting and team building and communications and finding your vision and determining your why. It's possible. Okay. Kids
Mm-hmm.
are capable of so much more than we ask of them for the most part.
Yeah.
We just have to learn to step back and empower them to take that next step.
Mm.
Same's true with your young adults on your teams too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Here's a few things that I wrote down. So I was taking notes while we were talking. I I wrote this down because it just resonated with me. That when you're saying looking them in the eye, it's the transfer of belief. Like, I believe in you. I know you can do this. And even silently, how impactful that is. Like, yeah, don't look them in the eyes. So I was thinking about that as you said that. That is so powerful because it takes so much courage to raise your hand amongst your peers, um, youth and adults. I mean, I still don't want to raise my hand in a meeting, but when they look at you, you're like, yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, but I can do this. And then I wrote down, Don, when you were talking, courage is contagious. Like they did it. And then they came back and got more people involved and because it spurred on passion. I love that. And then building that confidence piece. And how often do we go through life, or how many people have gone through life that haven't had the opportunity to really step into that, where someone believed in them to change their legacy? I wrote that down earlier too when you were talking about your legacy and what you wanted that to be. So, here on Shift School, the ultimate goal is that we have these opportunities or thoughts or something sparks something inside of us where we can make a small change, a small shift that's going to change something in our life. Whether it's relationships, whether it's, a career, something to move that needle. What is one thing that you would tell our listeners? Some shift that they could make today that will make an impact in their life.
I think for me the biggest thing was when I started in scouting, I knew nothing about scouting. John was the pro, and I stood there and I felt like I was kind of like the little green guy that's beside the Jolly Green Giant, and I was this big and he was this giant. He never tried to make me feel that way. That's how I felt.
Mm.
And when you're standing beside somebody that's like the expert, you never feel like you are.
Mm.
And I think for me, the biggest thing was when I went to Wood Badge and realized that it wasn't about me being an expert. I don't have to be an expert to start. I just have to do it. And I have to believe in
Mhm.
myself and know I can do it. And so I think my biggest thing is don't wait. Just do it. Step your foot in there and just do it, because there's never going to be a better time. I mean, there's
Mm.
always going to be something going on. You're always going to have something happening. Just do it. Just step in there and do it, and believe in the fact that you can get it done.
Mm. I love that. I've been told that the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. And
Yeah.
it's not getting any taller when we don't put it in the ground. I love that. Just do it. You don't have to be an expert. Just do it. I love it. How about you, John?
Yeah, and you just never know. I would say start where you are.
Mm.
We've talked a lot about scouts tonight, but she volunteers at the hospital and she
Mm.
helps cancer patients and has a huge impact on their lives. Dawn also works with Miracle League. She does other things. I work with the American Legion on a youth program. Um, Wherever you are and whoever you know, it's fine. Just find something to make yourself uncomfortable. Have the
Mm.
difficult conversation. Volunteer for something you don't have time for, and make your life better in the process. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because honestly, we never have time. There's always something we could be filling in
Right.
there. So I love that. Just do it. That's what I keep hearing you two say.
Yeah. Take action and do it with
Take
love. Do
action.
it with love. You know?
Oh yes, that's huge because we could spend our time trying to do something just for the sake of doing it. And how exhausted will you be at the end of the day? So, how did you both learn about Scouts? What sparked your interest there?
My
Probably should
father
have
was a
this
scout,
Your
and I
father was a
always
scout.
wanted to be a scout like him.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
then when we were blessed with two boys, I grew up very humble,
Yeah.
and I knew I could never go to Philmont. And I
Mm.
hoped one day, whenever I was 15, that God would bless me with a son so I could take him hiking in the mountains of northern Mexico. And then when Sam, our oldest, was in third grade, we got involved with Cub Scouts, and he's 21 now. So it's been a couple of years ago.
Mm. Mm. That's great. And then
Good
you transferred
answer.
those
And
skills.
she made eye contact with me, and before you know
I
it,
got drunk into it.
You're like, okay, who's this guy? I love that. And then transferring that legacy to your sons as well. That's so incredible. Well, thank you both so much. I really appreciate uh, you being here for one and just learning from you. I love hearing the stories. You two inspire me so much. And so for our listeners, just go do it. Start small. You don't have to be an expert. Take action. Love it. Thank
and
you
you're
both
pretty
so much.
awesome too, Lisa.
That's
Oh,
what I'm saying.
You're an
Yeah.
inspiration yourself. We
oh, I
really
appreciate it.
appreciate you and all the work you do.
Oh, thank you. We make a great team. I'll say that. Awesome. All right. Thank you.